Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one. I'm Nick, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Creepshow episode 4 from season 1. Now, if you've been following me on this Creepshow journey, you will know that these are going to be full of spoilers, guys. Like I said before, they're only small little short stories, so instead of beating around the bush, I'm going to give you a spoiler warning right now. And without wasting any more time, let's jump into episode 4. So the first segment is called The Companion, and we follow a kid named Harry who's been getting bullied a lot lately. And the episode starts with him like by a creek at one of his like safe spots or whatever, one of his hangout spots. And this area reminded me a lot of the It miniseries, how that group of kids used to go like under a bridge, like by this little creek as well. And it was just giving me It miniseries vibes. And while hanging out there, eventually his bully finds him, catches up with him, and they end up in pursuit. Harry runs through the creek, through the woods, eventually stumbling across this old abandoned field and house. And he sees a scarecrow in the field with a pole sticking through his chest. He removes the pole so he can use as a weapon in case he has to defend himself against his bully, and basically runs in the house. Now, when he removed that pole from the scarecrow, he unwillingly brought it to life because that was what was keeping him subdued there and not moving. We get a whole backstory on that later. But anyway, he hid in the house and the bully has lost him, so he left him alone and went back home. While he's in the house, the scarecrow comes to the door and tries to go in after the kid. So the kid runs down into the cellar, and that's where he finds the body of the owner of this house, who had killed himself by shooting himself in the face. And he left a note there. And the note is what gives us the backstory on this scarecrow. We learn to find out that the owner made the scarecrow because he was so lonely after the loss of his wife. So what he did was take a scarecrow basically, and he found these old bones in that around the property, like ribs and different things like that, and he used that to construct this scarecrow while using a heart that his wife made. She was doing these like arts and crafts. He used that heart for the scarecrow's heart. And out of nowhere the scarecrow came to life. But it makes you think, it's like, is that really his wife that's back as a scarecrow, or is it the bones of the things he found, which might be much more evil, you know? And I really think that's the most interesting thing here in this premise, is not knowing who is really controlling that scarecrow or what it really is or represents, right? Because according to the owner, he was thinking it was his wife, but then he was starting to think, after witnessing some deaths and that around the property, that perhaps that this is something much more sinister. And I really do like that whole mystery to it. And I would say up to this point, the episode is basically flawless. It's perfectly set up. But here's the problem. They don't really know where to go after this. The scarecrow ends up making it into the house after the kid, and the kid realizes that the pole that he took from him will protect him. Like, the scarecrow will not attack him when he puts up the pole in front of him, and that. I'm like, that is kind of a weak way to stop this menacing presence, you know? And he can basically control him and make him do what he wants with that pole that was lodged into his heart. And after he finds out he can control him and whatnot, the episode ends with Harry in the bully's room, sewing the bully to his bed while he's sleeping. Like, his sheets and that are sewed around him to the bed so he cannot move. And when he does wake up, the scarecrow is standing in front of him, and the kid has the pole, basically saying, I got the power now, you know? And I don't know, I just did not like how the story wrapped itself up. I think that just using that pole as your device to protect yourself and to command this scarecrow was very weak. Like, I think that could have been written a lot better, and you could have came out with a better outcome out of this. I do suppose it adds to the title of the segment, The Companion, right? How this is basically his sidekick at this point. And it's just too bad because leading up to that point where they team up, I feel like the atmosphere and the tone is very dark and unsettling and perfect. But once we get that, it kind of throws everything out the window, you know? It ruins it for me, basically. So I really like the mystery of the Scarecrow himself and what's controlling him. Is it the random bones they found or whatnot? And the effects are really nice as well. Especially the Scarecrow himself. He looks really cool with all the bones, the big long face bones and all that. He just looks really creepy. Really great design to him. So basically, I feel like they had the perfect setup here, but then just didn't know where to go with it. They just didn't wrap it up properly enough for me anyway. So I'm going to have to give a rating to this first segment in episode 4. I would have to give it a 6 out of 10. It's passable, but it could have been much better if they would have had a second half that was as strong as their first half of the story. Moving on to the second segment of this episode, Lydia Layne's better half. So Lydia is this high prestigious woman. She got awards all over her office. She's very prestigious. And she is giving this new position at her business. She has to give a promotion to one of her workers, one of them being a partner, a lover, this female that they keep hidden. Like nobody knows about their relationship that they have aside from their work relationship. And another guy is up for the position as well, kind of this random. And after giving them their interviews together in the room, she ends up giving the promotion to the man instead of her partner, which obviously leads to her partner being very angry and frustrated. She feels like she's being used and manipulated, and she is fed up of this job. She should have got the promotion. This all leads to argumenting and just fighting between the two. Eventually, the one that's angry falls over the couch and smashes her head on the table, which contained one of her awards that she got, Lydia's awards, which is all this pointy glass thing. And it goes right in the back of the other girl's head, killing her. Now, obviously, this situation looks very bad after not giving her the promotion, and then the woman ends up dead in your office, right? So Lydia ends up putting her in one of the rolly computer chairs and tries to hide the body somehow, get her to her vehicle or something. So she puts her in the chair and tries going down the hall, hiding from all the janitors and whatnot that she sees, almost getting caught a couple of times by other coworkers and such, until she eventually makes it to the elevator. Once she gets in this elevator, she thinks that, oh, I'm finally safe, I'm not going to get caught. But then an earthquake strikes while she's in that elevator. And earlier throughout the episode, we've learned through different things that there has been these small earthquakes hitting this area of the town. So now Lydia is trapped inside this elevator with a dead body, her former ex-lover, if you will. And this is where things get creepy, because she's in this elevator for so long with a dead body. Could you imagine how messed up that would be and claustrophobic you would feel and just want to get the hell out of there? Things are really starting to get creepy. Like, she'll look away or close her eyes for a minute, and when she looks at the dead body, it's in a different position, like it's moving on its own, but you never do see it move. It just always, when she looks back at it, it's doing something different, which is real creepy. It gets under your skin. Eventually, she ends up communicating with the firefighters through the intercom on the elevator. They're saying they're trying as hard as they can to get in there, and they're going to save her. But time is running out. Lydia basically starts to go mad at this point, and the viewer, in my mind anyway, I was thinking, is the dead body actually moving, or is she just going completely crazy after doing what she did? And I like that, how it made me think of those psychological effects it would have on someone who just finished murdering someone by accident, and then being trapped with them in a small space like this. It really makes you think. This is basically when Lydia had enough. She tried going through the roof of the elevator, through the little hatch, with no success. Eventually, she's like, screw it. She ends up prying the door open, and there's a space like this she could crawl out. And while she is crawling out, the elevator is about to move again, and she ends up getting decapitated. And you're wondering, was it the dead body that was holding her in place and wouldn't let her go? Or was it all just a coincidence? And that whole elevator decapitation reminded me of Resident Evil, the very first one, where that girl was trying to climb out of the elevator and the computer's putting it up and down, which decapitates her as well. The episode ends with them finally getting in the elevator, and they find Lydia's head in the arms of the dead girl's body. And you're like, that is creepy. That would make your skin crawl seeing something like that. And us knowing that she was already dead before that, she must be supernatural at this point, holding that head, right? It couldn't have all been in Lydia's head by the end. I don't know if it was a smart move to get rid of that mystery. I would have kind of rather it be more psychological than that, but it was still fairly done well. Again, this episode has so much potential. It wasn't bad by any means, but I think it had potential of being really great. But at this point, I'm going to have to give it a rating of 6.5 out of 10. And if I was going to rate this episode as a whole with both segments, it would average out to a 6.25 out of 10. So there you have it, guys. There's my little review on Creepshow Season 1, Episode 4. I hope you liked it. Be sure to stick around for Episode 5, which will be releasing soon. And then I'll be doing a ranking of every episode in Season 1. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And until next time, thanks for watching.